What is up, YouTube? It's your girl Evelyn, and today I am taking a page from one of my favorite YouTube channels, Watch Mojo, and bringing you a list of my top 5 social distancing films, Lesbian edition. These are films about ladies who are either forced into some form of social distancing, choose it for themselves, or probably should have. So sit back and enjoy the video, don't forget to subscribe, and as always, there will be spoilers, so proceed with caution.
I had this friend, and we just spent a little too much time together.
What were you doing?
What do you think?
But I'm a Cheerleader is one of my all-time favorite lesbian films ever. It tells the story of 17-year-old cheerleader Megan and her forced stint at True Directions, a conversion therapy camp for gay teens. Although this is a tongue-in-cheek take on a very serious topic, the film still gives voice to Megan's confusion about being isolated from her family and friends. Her gayness is seen as defective and unnatural, and must be dealt with far away from normal society. Ultimately, Megan makes new friends who become closer than family, and transforms one of the worst things that's ever happened to her into one of the best.
Like this whole night, we should do this for like 24 hours straight.
What are you doing?
Duck Butter is a bizarre and intense experimental comedy about the voluntary isolation of strangers Naima and Sergio. Jaded by their past relationships, the two women decide to spend 24 hours together, having sex every hour on the hour, in an attempt to hack their way to a lasting union. It goes about as well as you'd expect, and it doesn't help that Naima and Sergio are polar opposites. If you're looking for a feel-good lesbian rom-com with a happy ending, you might want to skip Duck Butter. But if you're in the mood for something a little on the weird side with tons of sex and potty humor, you might want to give it a try.
Quite by accident, I find myself in a rather criminal position.
What criminal activity could possibly involve it, except a crime of fashion, of course?
I'm embellishing literary letters by prominent writers.
Based on a true story, Can You Ever Forgive Me might seem like a strange addition to the list, but it tells the fascinating tale of memoir writer Lee Israel, who forged hundreds of letters by deceased authors and playwrights. The film earns a spot on the list due to the solitary nature of its main character. Lee has a difficult personality, and she wields it like a weapon, keeping everyone at arm's length, including a sweet bookstore owner with romantic inclinations toward her. Lee's alcoholism further isolates her, and she even manages to drive away her only friend, the fantastically flamboyant Jack. And although it sounds like a bleak film, Can You Ever Forgive Me is actually delightful, heartwarming, and sweet. If you want to watch Melissa McCarthy give her best performance to date, or you're just a literary nerd, this is a great pick.
You can't wear those.
I really need you to cut me some slack here, George.
I'm cutting you slack, but I can't have you look like slack at work. Get it? Holy shit.
Before I get into the next film on the list, I must warn you, it is very, very gruesome, so if that's not your cup of tea, feel free to skip ahead to number 1. Contracted is a body horror film about a young woman named Samantha who, after having a fight with her girlfriend, is sexually assaulted at a party and contracts a disease that causes her to fall apart. Literally. At times, watching Contracted feels like a disgusting PSA about the dangers of unprotected sex, but for the most part, it's just a good old-fashioned gross out. It quickly becomes clear that something is very wrong with Samantha, but instead of immediately seeking medical attention and self-isolating, she's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to work. If anything, Contracted is a lesson in what not to do when you quite possibly have a deadly contagious disease.
It's delicious. She thinks a lot of herself. Maybe she should. She owns a business and she's one of us. No, she's not.
The World Unseen is a romance that takes place in 1950s South Africa during apartheid when social distancing was the law. Miriam, an unsatisfied housewife, and Amina, a free-spirited cafe owner, fall in love amidst the hatred and oppression that surrounds them. The costumes, sets, and breathtaking cinematography will transport you from your IKEA couch to the sweeping landscape of Cape Town. And although Amina and Miriam try to distance themselves from one another, their hearts won't allow it, and they are unable to abide by the law of the land. The World Unseen is an easy film to lose yourself in, and these days, we all could use a little escape. The 100 isn't a film, but a television show that follows a group of post-apocalyptic survivors that have spent their entire lives on board a spacecraft and are now attempting to re-inhabit a very different Earth than the one they remember. In Disobedience, we get a glimpse inside a closed Orthodox Jewish community where two women fight to be together while simultaneously being torn apart. If you like Disobedience and you're looking for something similar, check out my novel Girls Who Pray. It'll be the first link in the description if you're interested. One of the definitions of the word pariah is outcast, and that's exactly what its main character's 17-year-old Alike feels like. Pariah is a bitter coming-of-age story with a hopeful ending. Loosely based on a true story and set in Berlin during World War II, Amy and Jaguar is about the affair between a Jewish woman and the wife of a Nazi officer. It's a film that stays with you long after it's over and will perhaps put our own complaints about social distancing in perspective. Tell me, are there any films I missed? Let me know in the comment section, and if you like this video, do me a favor and smash the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next week.